Good morning, students.
Good morning, sir.
Morning, sir.
Morning, sir.
Good morning,
Good
sir.
morning, sir.
So we will begin module 2. Is there any questions for module 1 in gigabit networking?
Sir, Hypercube.
Oh, yeah, yes. Yeah, you'll have to give me a little time. Hypercube construction. Just wait. Just a minute. I'm just checking out my notes. Okay, so we said in the last class that we'll learn how to construct an hypercube, right? So one-dimensional hypercube. So one-dimensional hypercube will look like so nodes are represented as 0 and 1. Okay, and two-dimensional hypercube can be constructed from two one-dimensional hypercubes. Okay, so 1 0 0 0, this is 1. Okay, 0 1, and then you connect 0 with 0 and 1 with 1, and then each node will have two digit levels. So you append 0 to the right, to the left of the level. Okay, and here it is append 1, right? So what you see here is that this is one dimension, and another dimension is this. Right? So this is how we constructed two-dimensional hypercube from two one-dimensional hypercubes. Right? So this leveling is very important. Okay. Now let us see the three-dimensional hypercube. So three-dimensional hypercube we will construct by using this. Okay, by using this in 3 dimensions. So this is now two dimensions we did. Okay. So how will it look? So we have two-dimensional hypercubes now. So we have constructed right? So what was it? It was 0, 1 dimensional hypercube, 0, 1 and 0, 1, right? 0, 1 and 0, 1, two one-dimensional hypercubes, right? And then when we make it two-dimensional hypercube, it becomes 0 on this side, and this side it is 1, 1, right? So this is one dimension and this is another dimension. So now we'll go for another two-dimensional hypercube which will have the same levels, right? What are they? 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, right? Now in this dimension we will connect. In this dimension we will connect. Now the levels will change. So the levels will change in the dimension of this dimension, the third dimension. Okay. So again here it will be 0, 0. Yes, just I will write 0, 0. Then what will be here?
0.
Very good.
0.
And here?
1.
Here it is. Because
1.
here it is 0. Here it will be 1.
1.
Can you see this? This one and this one. So it is 0 and 1 here. And 0. And this side it is 1. Okay. And this side 0, it will be 1 here. Right? And it's 0, it will be 1. So this is how we construct three-dimensional hypercube. Right? So similar to other interconnection network, these are the nodes. These are the nodes. These are the nodes. And these nodes can be computing elements. These nodes can be routers. Okay. And yes. And these are the links. And these are the links. Okay. So if from this node to this node, if this is source and this is destination, okay, which route it should follow? So that will say the switching from which node to which other node the packet will switch. So this switching can again be of two types, as we discussed in the last class very briefly. One is the static switching and the other is dynamic switching, right? And this hypercube topology is also used in case of load balancing. Suppose I'll just, this is out of context, but just I'm giving you a scenario to understand that where this kind of topologies are used. Okay, which other places apart from network. Suppose this is a node and this is a node, right? Now, if you talk in terms of cloud computing, the cloud nodes are suppose arranged in a 3D hypercube fashion. In that case, if the load on this node is, let's say, W1 at a given time, and a part of this load, okay, let's suppose W1 over 4 need to be offloaded from this node to some other node. Now, which node should it be? That is a part of your load balancing algorithm, right? And how the load should be moved, that is a part of routing, right? So these kind of topologies are extensively used in many applications. Maybe from microprocessors, maybe from your computing, the load balancing, cloud systems, many places wherever this kind of topology is formed. Any questions? Students, any question? Yes, students, any questions? Shashad,
Yes, sir.
any questions?
No, sir.
Nidhi? Okay. So then we'll move to the module 2. See, student, you have to do a lot of self studies. Okay, lot of self study. We will be giving you only the outlines and what you say, the sources and the topics. We will be exposing you to the topics. You need to do a lot of self study, and while studying, if you come across any question, please note them, and you can ask through email, you can ask during extra class, or anything that you require, right? We will facilitate you in understanding. So you need to be operating in self-exploratory exploratory mode. So we will study wireless sensor networks. So as we know, the network is nothing but a interconnection of nodes. Okay. So here in this case, the nodes will be the wireless nodes, and these nodes specifically are the sensor nodes, or known as modes, which possess certain special capabilities compared to other nodes. So basically they are nodes. Okay. So you can say that like this. So they are nodes, okay, in general. So what kind of nodes are there? They are sensor nodes. They are sensing, or we can say sensing nodes with wireless transmission receiving capacity, right? What are they? They are sensing nodes with wireless transmitting and reception capacity, and there are, and also the sensing nodes have some processing capability. So we can write transmission, reception, and processing capability, or we can say sensing nodes with processing, sensing nodes with processing, then transmission, receiving. So this is so wireless transmission receiving capacity, right? So these are sensing nodes which are basically possess the sensing capability, processing them, and wirelessly transmission receiving capability. So your mobile phone, for example, your mobile phone, is it, can we say that it's a sensor node?
Yes, sir.
Yes, because it is able to sense, it is able to process the sense data, and able to transmit and receive the processed data or unprocessed data, whatever it is, right? So your mobile phone is a classic example of a wireless sensor node, but this sensor node has much more capability than a sensor node that we are going to talk. So this is just an example. Okay, so this is a sophisticated wireless sensor device. So mobile phone is a sophisticated wireless sensor device, right? What sensors it has? What sensors it has? What sensors your mobile phone has? It has image sensor, right? It has image sensors. It has accelerometer. Yes, accelerometer,
Gyroscope.
yes, gyroscope, and lot. Many sensors are there, right? Many sensors are there. So this is as far as sensors embedded into mobile phone, correct? Then it has processor. Correct? Then it has battery, processor and hardware. Then it has battery, that is the energy module. It has the energy module. This is the computing module, right? Then you have radio module. What is that? Transmission receiving unit or electronics. Fine. So if you see, a sensor node will have broadly these four components. One is the sensors that it is used, the sensor node is used for, right? It can have ambient sensor, it can have a light sensor. Does your mobile phone has light sensor?
Yes, sir.
Yes. How? Because you set ambient light conditions, the screen illuminance with respect to your ambient light conditions. So it has light sensor as well, and so a sensor node can be equipped with a number of sensors, right? And the sensing data, the sense data need to be processed. So we have a processing module or computing module and the associated hardware. And then if it is supposed to communicate with the remote unit, then it will have a transmission and receiving unit. And of course, to supply power to the to all the units, it need to have an energy module, which is the battery. In this case, it is rechargeable battery, but in wireless sensor networks, the sensor nodes, the battery are usually not chargeable. Fine. So sensor network, these nodes communicate with each other wirelessly. Okay. So this is wireless links. Right? And the field where it is deployed is often known as the sensing field or the sensor field, right? So the field in which it is deployed is known as the sensor field. Fine. And these sensor nodes, these sensing nodes or sensor nodes, whatever you say, communicate to a sync node, are known as base station. Okay, communicate to a sync node and known as the base station, right? Sync node. And this sync node can be a node outside the sensing field, or it can also be one among the nodes within the sensor field, right? What is it? In this picture, it is shown that the sync node is outside the sensor field. It is not necessary to be outside the sensor field. It can also be within the sensor field as well. Fine. So the sync nodes are different from these regular sensor nodes or sensing nodes in the sense that these nodes possess a higher capability of data processing, and also higher capability of transmitting, which means the transmission power of the sync node can be reaching to the farthest node in the sensor field. Can be, I'm saying can be, okay, can be reaching to the farthest node in the sensing field, whereas the opposite is not true, in the sense that the farthest node in the sensor network may not be able to reach the sync node directly. So in that case, it may be using multi-hop communication to reach the sync node, right? So sync to, so what we can say, sync to farthest node, farthest node can be one hop, right? Can be one hop, but the farthest node to sync need not be one hop, right? So in other words, it can be multi-hop, right? It can be multi-hop. So after this, after the data reaches the sync node sends it through internet infrastructure, the sync node again can be wired or wireless. Okay, it can be wired or wireless. So the sync node communicates through the internet to the remote task manager, node, or the user like this. So the user can be a person having a mobile phone running an application to monitor the. So this sensor field, let's suppose a grazing ground, for the cattle. Okay, so here on the other side, it can be the farmer who is monitoring that whether its cattle are within the grazing ground or not, right? Whether the farmer is monitoring whether its cattle are within the grazing ground or not. It's remote monitoring. So let's suppose the cattle are, each cattle is equipped with a sensor node. So cattle are equipped with sensors with this capability. Okay, sensors with sensing and transmitting, processing and transmitting capability, right? And the farmer is able to see through his application, let's say cattle monitoring application, cattle monitoring application, farmer is able to see whether its cattle are within the grazing ground area or not. So this is one application. In this case, the cattle are moving, so this leads to a mobile wireless sensor network, right? So leads to a mobile sensor network, because the cattle will be moving from one point to other point. So the sensors tied to their body, that embedded sensors or invasive sensors or non-invasive sensors, okay, will also be moving as per their movement. So we can call it as mobile sensor network, right? In other case, these sensor nodes can be static as well. Suppose I want to understand, I want to study the agriculture fields data. For example, the soil moisture content, the temperature, the other parameters of the soil. So in that case, these sensor nodes are put inside the soil, pegged into the soil, into the agriculture field, okay, which again transmit the data, the soil related parameters, to the farmer monitoring the soil or the field conditions. Okay, so this is, in this case, these sensing nodes are static. So we took examples of two kinds of sensor networks as far as their mobility is concerned. Okay, one is the dynamic or mobile sensor network, and the other one is the static sensor network. Okay, students, any questions?
No,
No,
sir.
sir.
No, sir.
Okay. So we'll discuss a little bit more about the technology apart from these application specific stories. Okay, so we can say that WSN as an is an information acquiring and processing technology right? It is made by the convergence, right? It is made by the convergence of sensor, MEMS. What is MEMS? What is MEMS, students? Micro electromechanical systems. Micro electromechanical systems, MEMS. Okay, and network technologies, right? So it is made by the convergence of sensors, MEMS, and network technology. Remember this very important word. This is a convergence of. It's a convergence. It is not a single technology. It's not a single technology. It is a convergence of technologies. The sensing technology, the micro electromechanical systems, the technology associated to this, and the network technologies, right? So it is a convergence of technologies. It's a convergence of three technologies. right? Major technologies: sensor, MEMS, and network technology. Students, is this clear? This is very important.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
This is
Yes,
basically
sir.
information acquiring and processing technology, and this is convergence of these technologies. So, who are the people work in this sensor? When we say that I am a sensor, I am working in wireless sensor network, what does it mean? Does it mean that I am working on sensors? Does it mean that I am working on MEMS, or does it mean that network analysis? Well, I can't say. I can't say until I understand more about it. That, for example, the sensors, developing sensors, It is the job of it is the job of our electronics. Okay, electronics and nanotechnology, chemical technology, right? Chemical technology. There are biosensors, so biotechnology, right? So a list goes like this. So people from these areas, one or more of these areas, maybe material science, okay, the material science, and different people from these areas can go to develop a particular sensor. You must have studied transducers. Have you studied transducer? Students, have you studied transducers? What are they? Just try to whatever you can. What is a transducer?
That change into electrical
Sorry?
signals. So physical quantities, anything that converts variation into physical thing
Very,
into electrical signals.
very good. So physical quantity to electrical measurable quantity, right? So that is known as transducer. कोई एग्जांपल बेटा? Microphone, very good. So microphone basically sound vibration to electrical signal, right? So this is a classic example of transducer. A microphone is a classic example of transducer. So can I say microphone is a sensor? Can I say it is a sensor?
Yes, sir.
Yes, it is a sensor. Microphone is a sensor, but this sensor converts sound vibrations into electrical signal, right? So electrical signal, and this electrical signal, if it is in analog form, if the output of this sensor is analog form, I call it as analog sensor, right? And if this signal is digitized, now analog to digital. If I use ADC converter here to transform the sound vibration directly into digital form, so I will call it as a digital sensor, right? So sensors can be analog and it can be digital depending upon the kind of output the sensor produces, right? So this is about sensor. So sensor के हिसाब से कई सारे sensors है, जैसे हमने बताया कि it can be temperature sensor, it can be light sensor, it can be a chemical gas sensor, it can be a human motion sensor, it can be any other sensor, intrusion detection sensor, like that. Okay. Then what is MEMS? Micro electromechanical systems. What is an electromechanical system? What is an electromechanical system? It is not mechanical. Electromechanical means it has electrical component as well as mechanical component. मैं केवल इलेक्ट्रोमैकेनिकल का बात कर रहा हूं.
Sir, this motor is regarded as electromechanical system.
Very good. So motor can be an example of electromechanical system. आपका घरों में जो घंटियां हैं, अलार्म सॉरी क्या कहते हैं, जो डोर बेल्स है, जो टिंग टोंग करता है, जिसके अंदर एक मैग्नेट है, होता है, इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेट होता है. जैसे हम स्विच ऑन करते हैं तो जो मैग्नेटिक एलिमेंट है वो मैग्नेटाइज होता है, and then it attracts the hammer to hit onto the bell. That's how it makes a sound, ting tong. So that is an example of electromechanical system. Do you have such kind of bells in your homes, or a different bell? Maybe, because these days electromechanical bells are very little in use, but that can be understood as that, right? Any other example electromechanical? और कोई एग्जांपल इलेक्ट्रोमैकेनिकल? रिले आपका इलेक्ट्रोमैकेनिकल सिस्टम है. रिले जानते हो?
Yes, sir.
रिले इज ए स्विच, राइट? रिले इज ए स्विच. स्विच के अंदर भी, अरे गर्ल्स, तुम लोग कुछ जानते हो कि नहीं? स्टूडेंट्स?
Yes, sir.
हर्षित गुप्ता,
Yes, sir.
जानते हो रिले क्या है?
Yes, sir.
क्या है रिले, बताओ. अरे तुम लोग बीटेक किए हो, बीटेक करके एमटेक करने आए हो, ये छोटे छोटे चीजें पता नहीं है.
सर तो सर सिग्नल और मल्टीपल कंट्रोल सिग्नल्स का यूज करके टर्मिनल्स पे बनाते हैं.
सिंपल आंसर दो भाई. रिले होता क्या है? एक एग्जांपल दो रिले का. रिले का एक एग्जांपल दो. घर पे तुम्हारे रिले है कि नहीं? आई डोंट अंडरस्टैंड बिग थिंग्स.
Yes, sir.
हाँ बताओ, रिले
Relay-
क्या है? घर पे क्या रिले है?
Relays are in the UPS.
हाँ, वेरी गुड. यूपीएस जब कट ऑफ होता है,
Yes, sir.
यूपीएस जब कट ऑफ होता है वो क्या है? दैट्स एन इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेटिक रिले.
Yes, sir.
जो घर में स्टेबलाइजर्स हैं, स्टेबलाइजर में क्या होता है? जो कट ऑफ होता है, कट इन कट ऑफ जो होता है, वो क्या है? रिले है कि नहीं?
यस सर.
Sir,
Yes, sir.
breaker.
यस.
Breaker. Yes.
सुन नहीं पा रहा हूँ, ठीक से बोलो.
Breaker switch.
यस, सर्किट ब्रेकर इज अगेन रिले. आपका घरों में जो एमसीबी है, मिनिएचर सर्किट ब्रेकर्स है, दैट इज अ रिले. करेक्ट? So a physical parameter is preset, and whenever the physical parameter goes beyond that preset value, the device actuates. That's why we call it as actuator system. So that is what is electromechanical system, or we say that actuation system. Now when we say microelectronic mechanical systems, micro electromechanical systems, which means their size is very small, micro size. So in that case, when we say MEMS, they can be chips, they can be switching chips, which means the switches built inside the chip or the integrated circuit will act very fast. Those are electronic switches, not mechanical switches. Those are electronic switches. So gate, densely populated IC with gates, logic gates, right? Logic gates can be an example of your MEMS. गेट स्विचिंग एलिमेंट की तरह एक्ट करता है कि नहीं? लॉजिक गेट स्विचिंग एलिमेंट की
Yes,
तरह
sir.
एक्ट करता है?
Yes, sir.
राइट। तो जब डेंस गेट्स होंगे एक इंटीग्रेटेड सर्किट के अंदर एंड दे स्टार्ट वर्किंग एज स्विच, एज अ रिले for data forwarding or anything, any kind of switching. Okay, so we call that as MEMS. Micro because of its size, and electro because electrical energy is used to operate that, and mechanical, here exactly it is not mechanical, it gives the mechanical feeling by switching, right? That's why we call it as micro electromechanical systems. ठीक है। सो सेंसिंग मॉड्यूल, जो सेंसिंग नोड है, उस सेंसिंग नोड के अंदर सेंसर बिल्ड है जो डिफरेंट फिजिकल पैरामीटर्स को सेंस करके उसका करस्पॉन्डिंग इलेक्ट्रिकल सिग्नल जनरेट करता है। इट कैन बी एनालॉग सिग्नल, इट कैन बी डिजिटल सिग्नल, एंड देन दिस सिग्नल इज फेड इनटू द माइक्रोकंट्रोलर फॉर प्रोसेसिंग। These microcontrollers are also known as the MEMS component within the sensing node. ठीक। अब जब डेटा प्रोसेसिंग हो गया, MEMS के थ्रू से गया, now the output of MEMS of the microcontroller is ready for transmission to a remote node, to another, to the neighboring node or to a distant node, right? And this happens through radio module, and radio module falls into the part of नेटवर्क टेक्नोलॉजीज। ठीक है, तो इसमें क्या हो गया आपका कि रेडियो मॉड्यूल प्लस सेट ऑफ कम्युनिकेशन प्रोटोकॉल्स प्लस द अंडरलाइंग प्लस द फिजिकल मीडियम, ये तीनों मिलके इसके अंदर आ रहा है। और some people say the communication protocols and physical medium constitute network technology। ठीक है, तो हमने क्या समझा कि वायरलेस सेंसर नेटवर्क is an information acquiring and processing technology, and it is made by the convergence of sensors technology, sensing technology, MEMS technology and नेटवर्क टेक्नोलॉजी। तो इसमें आपका क्या आ गया कि ये सारे फील्ड्स के आ गए, VLSI एंड यहाँ पे कम्युनिकेशन, बोथ नेटवर्क एज वेल एज द डिजिटल कम्युनिकेशन, राइट? सो इट इज अ कन्वर्जेंस ऑफ all these disciplines. Clear, students? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So energy consumption by sensor nodes can be in primary mode, or we call as primary energy consumption, and the other one is secondary mode or energy consumption. Okay, let us write primary energy consumption and secondary energy consumption, right? So primary energy consumption, a sensor node is said to be in primary energy consumption mode when it is when sensor node is in active state, right? एक्टिव स्टेट मतलब क्या हो गया? एक्टिव स्टेट मतलब it can be sensing, then data processing, transmitting and receiving, etc. ठीक है. And in secondary mode, which means otherwise, right? Which non-active state. I mean otherwise not active state. ठीक है. Not active state में क्या हो गया कि it can be idle. Either sensor node is idle or in sleep state. It can be in idle state or sleep state. Idle state मतलब क्या हो गया कि it is either not sensing, it is just dormant, or it is in sleep state. Sleep state means it is not sensing any transmit any channel. It is not sensing anything, something like that. Okay. We will study about this when a sensor node can go into idle and active state. Okay. Non-active state and active state. कि क्यों जाता है, इसका फायदा क्या है, we will study later. Then comes transmission power level. Transmission power level. So it uses plane earth propagation model. Plane earth propagation model with path loss exponent set to 3.5. Okay. So power level basically says that at what power, at what energy does a sensor node can work. Why do we say this? Because if it has to transmit to a longer distance, it has to transmit the signal at a higher power, right? So that way, in total, there are 6 levels. There are 6 levels of power setting. There are 6 levels of power setting. 6 levels of power setting. Okay. ये 6 levels of power setting जो है, ये 1 hop के लिए एक पावर सेटिंग है, 2 hop के लिए है, 3 hop के लिए एक है. तो इस तरह 5 hop के लिए 5 hop तक 5 hop पावर सेटिंग. Power setting levels. ठीक है. और what is the 6th one? What is the 6th one? So 6th level is the power setting wherein the sensor node can transmit directly to the sync node. तो हमने यहाँ पे बताया था कि एक सेंसर नोड नॉट नेसेसरीली सिंक नोड को एक ही हॉप में ट्रांसमिट कर सकता है, राइट? इट कैन ट्रांसमिट, in fact in most cases it transmit in multi hop manner. So multi hop जब हम बोलते हैं, it can be 1 hop, it can be 5 hop or it can be 6 hop. माने ये टेक्निकली हम इसको लोड लेवल ट्रांसमिशन पावर लेवल सेटिंग्स कहते हैं. तो 1 हॉप के लिए जितना जरूरत होगा वो सेटिंग कर सकते हैं, 2 हॉप के लिए जो होगा उस तरह 5 हॉप तक हम सेट कर सकते हैं. ठीक है. और 6th हॉप जो है, 6th लेवल से पावर सेटिंग जो है, which if set, it means that that particular node can transmit to the sync node in just 1 hop. मतलब कि 6th लेवल का पावर सेटिंग जो होगा, that will be the highest level of power setting compared to the lowest level of power setting, that is 1 hop. ठीक है. कोई क्वेश्चन स्टूडेंट्स? Students, any questions?
Okay.
Right. And one more thing, that in sensor network, the transmission data rate is low, right? And frequency, although there are many frequencies available. For example, you can say that 433 megahertz, 868, 868 or 916 megahertz, etc. But the most commonly used frequency is your 2.45 gigahertz ISM बैंड, जो कि अनलाइसेंस्ड बैंड है, ठीक है. 2.45 gigahertz ISM band. This is industrial, scientific, and medical. Okay, that's the band. Right, we will discuss some more basics about the sensor network in the next class. Students, if you have any questions. No, these are the power levels. These are the power levels, and the values of these power levels can vary. This is the standard that was built. Okay. आप जैसे रेगुलेटर में 5 स्टेप्स होते हैं यूजुअली, 1 0 1 2 3 4 5. बस बिल्कुल उसी तरह है. ये एक बनाया गया है, वैसे बनाया गया है, एंड एवरीवन इज फॉलोइंग. राइट. So today is 8/10/2020. ये प्रतीक,
sir.
तानवी,
Present, sir.
मोहना,
Present, sir.
निधि, हर्षित,
Present, sir.
अर्चना,
Present, sir.
अतुल्य,
Present, sir.
विभास,
Present, sir.
चंद्र प्रकाश,
Present, sir.
शाश्वत,
Yes, sir.
उमंग,
Present, sir.
प्रज्ञा,
Present, sir.
ममोन,